Hmm.
Hey.
Hi. Good
Good
evening.
timing. Oh, it's been one of those days, people. Yeah, I was like, I pretty much never drink. I drink socially, but I do keep like a 6 pack of girly ass Smirnoff in the fridge for like emergencies. It lasts
Yeah.
me like 2 freaking months. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have a drink today. And now it's hitting me hardcore because I never drink. You're looking all spiffy. Did you get your hairs cut?
I did. I got my ears lowered.
Nice, nice. I
Now
went
you
back
can
to
you can you
purple.
can see how bald I am. Yeah, I like your hair.
You like it lighter. Everyone seems to like it lighter, but it's like it still looks a little blonde to me. But I'll deal. I'll deal, you guys. Today I joined Kim Iverson earlier today, and she said it will post tonight. Given it's 9 Eastern already, and I have a feeling maybe it'll be tomorrow, but when we did the show at 2 this afternoon, she said it would be posted tonight. Um, and it will be posted live. That's how she does it. She films and then shows it as it's live so you guys can comment,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything like that. And of course, we talked about Temujin Kensu, my meeting with him in prison, and my new book that is scheduled to publish in 3 weeks. Um,
Ooh.
Definitely, please, pre-orders are up now. You can pre-order. It is all pre-orders are signed and shipped before any orders. And it's my baby. I'm blind, and I'm 85% blind, and writing a second book. So that's interesting and such. But yeah, I understand why nobody has even tried to write a book about this case before. I get it. Like, I'm writing this book and thinking I may have to do like a second, third, fourth, and fifth to even get all this shit in a book. It's so insane. I mean, you're talking almost 40
Mhm.
years
There's a
of
lot there,
corruption.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So at this point, I'm kind of picking what I think is the most dire that people know. Um, so what you'd see in the book is you're going to see transcript from our one-on-one interview in our in-person uh, prison interview. You're going to see some of that, very transparent. We got in very deep conversations, and really, it's the first time he's ever really been able to open up. We had 4 hours together. So, I've had him on the show many times, but it's on a prison phone, and there's like, thank you for calling the state of corrections, like
Yep.
all this, annoying bullshit. And it was like no interruptions. It's just two people talking, and he wasn't, censored to say whatever. Like, it was just two of us sitting at a table in a room. Um, and he was able to finally not get cut off, not shoving everything into a half-hour interview. Like, we had a very in-depth conversation, and I've known him almost 5 years, and I've never talked to him about his family life, or any of when he was in the army, or just so many things about who he was and everything. It's always been about the case, so I really got to delve deep into knowing more about him as a person. And I've never heard people talk to him about that stuff. It's always been, okay, you've been in prison almost 40 years and you're innocent, which is very fascinating. But at the same time, I know there's tons of people who follow his case who also want to know him as a person. So there's that. There's also, I have submissions from some true crime podcasters and some supporters who you may know, who have sent me in some writing that I'm going to be putting throughout the book. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of documents in there. So when you read shit and you're like, there's no way this happened, I'm gonna put like documents throughout. So you're like, oh my God, no way. No fucking way. This really happened. Yeah, it did. Yes, it's not just for true crime lovers. Like this is a book about inhumanity of, making people political prisoners. He is a political prisoner. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And corruption, the corruption is why he's still in prison. So anyone who is, who questions government or, is against corruption or wants money out of politics or believes that in restorative justice, believes that, we don't have a justice system. I mean, there are a million reasons why you would like this book. So I definitely encourage people to buy it. I'm very proud of it. But yes, so we do have some stories to get to.
Cool.
But first, we will talk about another joy, a joy that is just not even a millionth as cool.
Yeah, no. Joy Reid apparently was fired from her show. Was that today? Let's see what she has to say about it.
I can't hear it.
No audio, huh?
Nope.
Stand by.
Yeah, this was actually kind of shocking because she's like, you know, a shit libbery, shit lib, pearl clutcher. So I'm like, they fired her. This is interesting. But she has been doing a lot of videos on her own.
Show had value, and that I'm sorry.
Do you hear it now?
Hmm?
Okay.
My show had value, and that I'm sorry. That what I was doing had value. Had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV. So I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them. Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Okay, let's just rewind, girlfriend. You're making yourself out to be a fucking martyr. You are saying you got fired because you were just too left. You were just too humanity first. You were just too hard for support of Gaza.
Yep.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? First of all, you can't even go on that damn network unless you have a script. Let's just be clear. All of us fucking know that. All of your shit has to be pre-approved. You didn't go hard on anything except Trump, okay? You bootlicked Hillary. You hated Bernie. You bootlicked Kamala.
Oh yeah.
You bootlicked Schumer. You bootlicked Pelosi. You bootlicked every freaking person who is disgusting and hurting us as people, as a community, as a society. You bootlick all of them. So now you're trying to play a victim and say you were fired because you stood up for these righteous things? Get the fuck out of here.
She's trying to rewrite history.
Yes, and we have receipts. You've been on the air for how many years? Dude, and I have a couple clips that we can look at, and they're just random ones, but like, oh yeah, you fight for Gaza so bad. Yeah, that's right. That's why you're vote shaming people for not voting for fucking Kamala. What about when, East Palestine? What about when you said that it was red states and like they got what they voted for essentially?
Oh yeah.
What about when you said that shit? Like, and she's trying to, she's like, oh my God. And then she has an assistant bring her a tissue.
It's not even a tissue, it's a paper towel.
Oh, excuse me, a paper towel. That was on purpose. She's like, yeah, I hope you get a sore nose. But I mean, like, no, I don't feel bad about you like losing your job when you like have a fucking assistant. Like, you're rich, okay? And you're still gonna do videos on YouTube, and shit libs are still gonna eat it up, and you're still gonna be making bank. This is like one of the best things that's happened to her career.
People are talking about her.
Yep.
Whereas before she was just kind of in shit lib territory. Who cares, right?
I remember the way she used to trash Bernie. She'd come out and say shit. She's like, there were those tweets, I still have them, from 2016. She's like, Bernie Sanders is like when you have someone come stay at your house and they eat all your chips and destroy your couch and like all this shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck is she even talking about? But like, she used to say like the most wild shit and just be like, yep, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Gross. All right, here's one from Hotspot. Can't believe she got fired, it says.
And I think it's important to say that, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. She had every really prominent celebrity voice. She had the Taylor Swift, she had the Swifties, she had the Beehive. Like, you could not have run a better campaign in that short period of time. And I think that's still true.
Did she mean the K-Hive?
Beehive is Beyonce.
Beyonce, okay.
Dude.
I need to get with it.
Flawless?
Yeah, what's you talking about? Flawless campaign.
You forgot to mention how a bunch of people said they wouldn't vote for her unless she said she'd do an arms embargo. But it was flawless.
It was flawless. She, forgot to mention that there were no policies listed anywhere for the longest time.
Is Queen Latifah still like?
She's not relevant.
Like,
no.
Relative? Or...
She was relevant in the early 2000s.
Yeah, UNITY. Yeah, I mean, like, she just proved the point that this shit's all about celebrity. It doesn't fucking matter what the platform is. Like, she had Queen Latifah, she had Beyonce, she had Taylor Swift. You know what she didn't have? A fucking platform.
Medicare for all.
You know what else she didn't have? Any fucking primary votes. You forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And she didn't last time either.
I don't
because
think
she dropped out before any were cast.
I don't know if we'll ever see another primary. That seems like a thing of the past. We'll see.
Bananas. Absolutely
right.
bananas.
Here's another clip. MSNBC cancels the show The Readout to be replaced by Simone Sanders.
MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid's 7 o'clock show, The Readout, as part of a major overhaul by the network's new regime. Reid, an unabashed liberal, mainstay, in fact, you could argue, and an emphatic Trump critic, will be replaced by a new show hosted by former Obama staffer and Bernie Sanders backer Simone Sanders Townsend, also former RNC chair Michael Steele, and Alicia Menendez, the daughter of disgraced New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. Reid has been a host of the network since 2016. And MSNBC.
Okay, so this is funny for several reasons. One of the funny things is that people have always confused Simone Sanders with Joy Reid because they look similar and they both have very, very short hair and sometimes shaved heads.
Oh, is that this here? They're two different people?
I think so. Yeah, okay. I think that's her.
Is that racist of me to not be able to tell?
I can't tell if it's because I can't see their faces.
They're hoping that people won't even notice.
They are. It's like, they're just like replacing her with someone who like.
It's like a body double, kind of. Yeah. It's weird. Oh.
So the interesting thing about Simone Sanders that anyone who worked for the Bernie campaign or volunteered for the Bernie campaign is in 2016 when WikiLeaks came out. Mm-hmm. She actually worked for the Bernie campaign. She was campaign manager or campaign something. She had a very high up. And she campaign chair, maybe it was called. In any case, when WikiLeaks came out, she was in a bunch of the emails. Now, what it was she was literally feeding Hizzlebub, okay, we're going to this town in 2 days. Okay, Bernie said he's going to do a video about blah, blah, blah. Okay, the campaign's getting ready to release a statement on blah, blah, blah. And like giving Hizzlebub's campaign heads up on everything they were planning to do. She was a fucking mole. And then she ended up leaving and going to Hillary. Like to work for her.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. She was a total fucking mole. And like Bernie's dumbass, she worked for Obama. Like, you think she really likes you?
You think Bernie chose that person? I don't know if Bernie. I think it was probably forced on him by the party.
Who knows? He's such a damn mess.
It's true.
Such a damn mess.
I think we're on to our next topic. Let's discuss propaganda and transparency.
You're so susceptible to propaganda. Like, really, bro, the propaganda is on your side. Okay? The propaganda is in your favor, on your side.
Everybody's favorite. This you?
So Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, now has an X account, aka Twitter, where anybody can go follow them and keep up with what Doge is doing. What are they finding? I think this is great. I think that this administration from day one has been extremely transparent.
We all love transparency. This is from that same Twitter account that you were talking about. Doge themselves saying that they found $55 billion in savings, which so far the lie detector has determined was a lie. Part of that money was $7.2 billion they said that they found by canceling contracts. But when the Washington Post looked into it, they found that those contracts had already been paid. 1,000 of those contracts, which they said that they canceled, had already been paid in full. They've already had to correct themselves, not because they found their own accounting error, but the New York Times found that they claimed a contract was $8 billion when in fact it was $8 million. They were lying to you. They've also been caught double dipping, listing the same account 2, 3, sometimes 4 times. One of them was $657 million that they counted 3 times. They were lying to you. It's a good thing that you don't fall for propaganda, though. That would be really fucking embarrassing.
Ay, Dios
Yep.
mío.
Yep, people are being propagandized into being okay with getting less public services, I think. What seems to be happening here.
You know what's crazy though? Because like people are like, the shit libs are always like, well, if I get that money, I'm not going to cash it. I'm like, look, fuck Trump, but hell yeah, I'll fucking cash it. What are you, crazy? Hell no. I know it's not coming, but you know what I mean? Remember how, like, the stimulus, how he gave us more than Biden did? And when he gave us some, like, some shit libs are like, I'm not cashing this. I'm throwing it out.
Yep.
Well, your privilege must be nice, bitch. Okay.
I got bills to pay.
Exactly. I don't give a shit who this comes from. I don't give a fuck. If it's money, I'm taking it.
Well, I have some bad news for you, maybe. Low-income Americans, such as myself,
And myself.
will not get Doge stimulus checks. They will
I
only go to
know.
high-income Americans. I don't know how true this is.
But what's low income to a billionaire? Are we low income compared to him? Like, to him, isn't low income? Well, no, actually, to him, low income is probably $500,000. So then we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Even if it's like 100,000, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
This is the craziest shit I've ever fucking read. Do you remember when I was telling you about those Doge checks, those $5,000 stimulus checks? Well, now Trump and Elon Musk are saying that low-income Americans are not going to get the benefits. There's a wealthy CEO by the name of James Fishback. He's the CEO of an investment firm named Azoria. He was the one who created the proposal to send millions of Americans these Doge checks. New reporting is showing that if Trump goes through with his plan, low-income Americans are not going to receive the benefit. Now, if you're low income, the reason why you're not going to get it is because Fishback said the dividend is only going to households above a certain income threshold, which should ease concerns about inflation. So to be very clear, their position is they're only going to give money to people who make over a certain level of income, because if they give it to everybody, it's going to cause inflation. And instead of giving it to low-income Americans, who are the people who actually need it and would benefit from it, they're saying they only want to give the rebate to households that are net income taxpayers, people who pay more in taxes than they get back. And the reason for that is because tax-paying households, of course, low-income Americans are not tax-paying, but tax-paying households are more likely to save the money, not spend it, like your low-income American ass. Basically saying that high-income Americans are better with their money and that there is nothing inflationary about paying off debts, saving for emergencies, or investing in college or retirement. In fact, debt pay downs are actually deflationary. They think so lowly of you as a low-income American that you're going to go and spend it recklessly so that there's going to be so much inflation so you don't deserve your money. But it gets better. They want Trump to sign the checks. And the check should include the word Doge, very simply, because we have to be honest. They want all the credit for the money they're about to send. Y'all, it gets even better. They said, now look, for folks who want to criticize this plan and say, well, Doge is never going to deliver on the $2 trillion total savings, we disagree. But let's just assume that they're right on that. Let's say it's only $1 trillion. Okay, so then the checks go from 5,000 to only 2,500. And let's assume that it's only 500 billion. Then the check is going to be 1,250. That's real money. But in the same breath, they say, I got to tell you the truth here. It's not necessarily even about the dollar amount. It's about the symbolism of government sending money back in the form of restitution to compensate hardworking Americans. But let me get this straight. Elon Musk and Trump look at high-income Americans as better than you low-income Americans because high-income Americans save their money as opposed to just spending it recklessly, and low-income Americans don't know what to do with their money for real. Therefore, low-income Americans are not going to get $5,000 checks. Number two, they don't even know how much money Doge is even going to save, but it doesn't matter because they don't give a fuck about giving you $5,000, $2,500, $1,250. They only care about getting the credit for sending you money as a symbolic gesture. And three, Trump is going to put his name on the check so he gets all the fucking credit and looks good. Are y'all tired of falling for the motherfucking okie doke yet?
Dude, what's a savings account?
I haven't had money in a savings account in 10 years, 15
I haven't even
years.
owned a savings account since I was like 18, maybe. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, that's do they
Rainy
they
day
don't
fund.
even make those? Like,
Yeah, piggy bank. I barely have a piggy bank.
like I would think like after, future generations, they're not even going to make savings accounts anymore because nobody can fucking say. It's only
Nobody.
the older generations who are like, put 5% in your savings every single paycheck. I'm like, what? So don't pay one of my bills so I can put it in savings? Like, then what?
For college. We have a comment from Monty68X. From President Gates to President Musk, we have an open plutocracy now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I've been unemployed for 2 years. I have not been collecting any income. So I did not file taxes. Boom, 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 boom. I probably won't get a $5,000 check.
But so you and your wife don't do jointly?
No.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna owe hardcore. I'm really gonna owe because Social Security, my disability didn't end up taking the taxes out this year,
Oh, shit.
and I didn't notice.
Oh, fuck.
I'm
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm gonna cry. But like I paid taxes to get Social Security. Like, I worked like 25 years before my blindness, so like
Yeah.
then when I was disabled, like that's how they know how much you get for disability because of your work history. And I
Mhm.
worked like every day for 25 years, and then like now I have to pay taxes again. But I paid taxes to get like it's like seniors, they get their same thing, Social Security, and they have to pay taxes again, but they've paid taxes for working 50 years or something, and so it's literally being double taxed.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of malarkey,
It's bullshit.
bastards.
Yeah, we'll see if those $5,000 checks come. On to our next topic, though. Oh,
Palestine.
we have a comment from Holly. She says, I never got the $200 Biden owed me. Remember that? Was it 1,200?
Yeah,
200? I don't know.
1,200. Yeah. The one that like all the local like Democrats, all the congressional people and Senate people, they all ran on, if you elect me, I'm gonna get you that extra $800 because you only got the 1,200 and you were due the 2,000. And people just fell for it. They voted for all of them, and not one damn place got that $800. And that just shows you how desperate people are. Like, $800, yeah, I'll fucking vote for you, even though I know you're a corporate stooge. I need that $800. And then people vote for you, and you still don't give it to them. They act like it's their money. It's not their fucking money.
I know. All right. We have our next topic. We have another episode of Israelis killing Israelis.
So 3 bombs exploded in buses in Tel Aviv in Israel yesterday. The buses were empty, but they also found some unexploded bombs somewhere else in Tel Aviv. According to Israel, all these bombs were supposed to go off in the morning during rush hour, but somebody made a mistake and they went off at night when nobody was in the buses, so nobody died. Now, people who know even a little bit about Israel are saying that this is a false flag operation from Israel to create an excuse for them to attack Palestine again. So 2 people have been arrested overnight in connection with this bomb blast. And as you can guess, these people are these people are Israelis. 2 Israelis have been arrested on suspicion of being involved in these bomb blasts in Israel. This is from an Israeli newspaper. But Israel is not releasing the details of the arrested people. Most people who are not blind or stupid seem to be going like, that's very convenient. And of course, the Israelis are all like, genocide. Now we can do genocide. Can we start now? And Israel is back at the top of the charts with their all-time smash hit, Israelis Killing Israelis.
Yeah, it's like their favorite thing to do.
Yep. I mean, just last week, hey, I unalived 2 Palestinians. Oh, wait. Oops, they were from Israel. They are the best victims ever. They really are. Yep. But, and I was looking at, there were some threads of people doing screenshots of, articles that were coming out about these like bombs found.
Yeah.
And it was like, suspected Palestinians leave bombs and stuff. Are there corrections? No, there never are. But let's be honest, even if there are, people go with what they read first. It does not matter. You can send out 100 corrections. You can put them on the front page. It doesn't matter.
The damage is
People
done.
are still going to run with what fits their narrative.
Yeah. 100%. All right. This says American universities just took away the right to peacefully protest. Suspension or fines up to $5,000 will be handed out to anyone that doesn't support the genocide.
I honestly think every single university student should be fucking terrified about what just happened at Barnard College. Like, if you are a US student, you don't have the right to protest anymore, apparently. And the thing that I find so ridiculous about all of this is that 2 ex-IDF soldiers came over and chemically attacked US citizens, like US nationals. Like, literally, they were on a dual program between Israel and Columbia, like whichever university, Israel and Columbia, came over, didn't like what US students were doing, didn't like that they were protesting, and chemically sprayed them to the point where people were in hospital for days. People are still paying off like medical bills and medical fees and stuff because of what a foreign national did, and they were not expelled. But you hand out posters in a class at Columbia, at Barnard College, the like offshoot affiliate, whatever, you get fucking expelled. They have expelled 2 students for handing out fucking posters. And they have already suspended upwards of 50 students, literally just for exercising their right to free speech, their right to protest. And like, what other message is Columbia trying to say? That you can literally physically harm students if you're from Israel, if you're an IDF student, but you cannot actually protest if you are American. Like, does that not seem insane to you?
Fucking nuts. And they have been arresting people left and right for posting things on Twitter. There's a woman, Lauren, who's been a streamer for as long as I have, for 8 years. She was arrested. She was contacted on Sunday night or Friday night, and they said, tomorrow morning, we will be coming to your house. We will be arresting you because you made a comment on this woman's thread, and there's a picture of her. She wrote in a pro-Israel book, and she has real blonde, like curly hair. I could send you a picture of her. And people in her thread, she is calling the FBI and police for people who are going on her thread and commenting that they don't approve of Zionism. They don't, she is quite literally having them arrested. and there are multiple. One of the gentlemen, Eve's, his hearing was today. He was in prison because he commented on her post. Now, keep in mind, these posts are not saying anything violent. They are not threatening. They are saying absolutely nothing that could be even partially misconstrued as violent or threatening. But she throws in the word anti-Semitic. Then these people who are standing up against genocide are literally being arrested because of responding to tweets.
That is shit that I would see happening in Australia a lot over the recent years. Like during COVID and stuff, you'd see a lot of that.
You're right.
That's crazy. That's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening here now. Awesome. I have a comment from Brett Boyle. He says, quote, "To learn who has control over you, merely discover who it is you're not allowed to criticize." End quote.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. All right. All right. We have a clip from Comic Dave Smith.
I like what that guy said. Benjamin Netanyahu came and testified before Congress in 2002, and he said with certainty that if we overthrew Saddam Hussein, democracy would sweep the region. He also advocated that we had regime change in Libya, Syria, and Iran. And he's still advocating that to this day. You must recognize that anyone advocating that America go fight another stupid, catastrophic war in the Middle East is your enemy. They are our enemies. Anyone who advocates that. If they start talking to you about fighting a war with Iran, you treat them like an enemy that they are. They are not on your side. Our people do not want to fight any more wars in the Middle East, period.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Where was this?
I'm not certain where it was. But I do really love how people who are not necessarily activists come out and say things like this, because it shouldn't be just these like niche, groups of people. Like it shouldn't just be people like us who come out. Like I like when singers come out and comedians come out and people who you don't necessarily expect, and people who have never been political publicly.
Yeah. I'd love to see it.
See a lot of folks watching. Smash the like and subscribe.
Comment from Brett says that Australia has it worse than us here in Canada. Yeah,
I've seen a lot, like especially the past few weeks, a lot of like the anti-Semitic attacks that people have been like filming and showing, their homes have been spray painting and stuff. A lot of those are being exposed as fake, and people are actually getting arrested for faking them. So yeah, some crazy shit does go on in Australia for sure.
Mm-hmm. Just a second and getting the next clip up. Why have we not seen many interviews of the Israeli hostages that have been freed?
Why have we not seen many interviews of Israeli hostages that have been freed? Why are we not seeing that all over our social media timeline? If we've been told this story, that these Hamas captors have been torturing them and raping them.
I remember there was this old lady saying, they treat us very well, they were giving me my medication, everything was fine, they were very kind people.
When we see Israeli hostages coming out of Gaza, it must be an absolute nightmare for the Israeli propaganda teams. Because these Israeli hostages, they look healthy. It's really difficult for Israel because they've told this story and the images that we're starting to see are telling a different story. Why have we not seen many interviews?
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, side by sides, like they're literally branding
And
Israeli flags
they're
on
skeletons. Yeah, I've seen the
yeah,
brands.
they're skeletons. They're skeletons. I mean, it's so disgusting. And I mean, their cheeks are sunken in. Some of their eyes are bulging out because they get so dehydrated that it's like an effect of that, and then they never go back, even if they start eating and drinking. Um, permanent PTSD.
Oh,
I mean, it's I mean, I'm sorry, but if we're going to use the word casualty and be like, there's over 300,000 Palestinian casualties, like who isn't one? I mean, they're not casualties in the respect that they should give up, but they've all been affected. Period. All of them. They have no homes. Their families have been either killed or, dismantled. They are malnourished. They're going to have medical problems if they survive. I mean,
they're hated
what
by
life
they're
is
hated by
there?
half the world for no reason. Half the world hates them for no reason due to propaganda.
Yeah.
So they're like getting the short end of the stick.
Absolutely. I know. I think that would be like the only thing worse than going through a genocide would be knowing that there are millions of people cheering it on.
Yeah. Millions of people who have the exact opposite story. They have that. Yeah. It's gross. Here's some Rathbone though. I love Rathbone.
Yeah, he's been on the show a few times. I'll have to hit him up and see if he wants to come back again.
Yeah, here he is making fun of Ben Shapiro a little bit.
Hey, wait, pause that for a second. How is that possible? Seriously, how is that possible? That's not real love, folks. That is not genuine affection. That is a kiss forced under duress and threat of physical violence. And we know this. We know it's not real. We know it's fake because if it was real, there would be some tongue action. And there's not. If this is real, where is the tongue? Second, how do we know this isn't AI? How do we know this isn't an optical illusion playing with our depth perception? That doesn't even look like they're touching. And let's just suppose this is real for just 1 second, okay? We already know this guy has had a 1.5 years of training at the Hamas Academy for Performing Arts. Also, are we just not going to talk about the Hamas attack drone buzzing a foot away from this guy's head? Of course he's smiling. He's going to be blown to smithereens if he doesn't. Look at that drone. Look at that drone, folks. Always watching, leering, stalking. This is literally psychological warfare.
Why do you think that
was
was
not enough
Ben
evidence to
Shapiro?
convince you that Hamas rapes its hostages? Then I don't know what to tell you.
Have you seen this footage of them kissing?
No. Not in anything other than this clip here. No.
Yeah, it's just, people are saying it's Stockholm syndrome or whatever, but we have seen how many videos of people leaving Hamas and giving them hugs, them giving them gift bags and stuff like that. They are given their medication. They are given food. They are, so yeah, you can't compare. And there's also 9,400 Palestinian hostages, actually prisoners. So, I think it's a little different, but they have brown skin, so,
And the drone thing. I guess there's drones everywhere. We're not supposed to even question it now. It's just a thing. But do you know what the drone is about?
I thought he put that in there.
No, that was actually in there.
Oh, was it? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. I am not certain. I'm sure it's Israel. I mean, they're the only ones that have that, or it's US.
And I know he's making a joke about AI, like, oh, it could be fake because AI. But he's joking, but he's right too. AI is getting fucking
No,
scary.
he's mocking the shit libs who are saying that.
He's
Like,
mocking Ben Shapiro, but in a way,
what do you mean Ben Shapiro? I don't get it.
at the beginning of the video, it says Ben Shapiro watching the hostage video. So he's making fun of Ben Shapiro here.
Oh, okay.
I guess. I don't know. I didn't really hear Ben Shapiro in the voice. Maybe he needs to work on his Ben Shapiro voice.
Yeah. What else we got?
All right. I'm not sure what this is. I'm just going to play it.
Hate to be the one to tell you this on a Sunday, but if you care about the lives of 2 people over the lives of upwards of 20,000 people, you are a white supremacist. You are a white supremacist and you hate Palestinians. You do not see them as human beings. You know what? I can't even blame people half the fucking time because the way in which you conceptualize and read the news right now doesn't help. It doesn't help the dehumanization. This is how Western media, specifically BBC News, reported on Hind Rajab, the 6-year-old that they left in a fucking car to be shot at 300 times with a fucking tank. And this is how the New York Times are reporting on the 2 Bibas children that were returned back to Israel recently. 2 tiny captives, symbols of hostage crisis, to go home dead. Again, this is how they reported on Hind. She is found dead. She's not returned dead. She's not killed by Israel. She happens to die somehow. And this is how they report on the Bibas children. The smallest coffins are the heaviest. Israel grieves youngest hostages. This is a list of every single Palestinian child that did not reach their first fucking birthday. Their first fucking birthday. I am somehow meant to find sympathy and compassion for the 2 children that you are grieving when this is how you discuss Palestinian children. These are the people that didn't reach their first fucking birthday. And this is a US organization. This is a US charity that doesn't even pay fucking tax saying, not enough, we demand blood in Gaza. Make no mistake, this is white supremacy. And if you catch yourself thinking in this way of grieving 2 lives over upwards of 20,000, you need to recalibrate because that is fucking racist.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, how many atrocious, disgusting photos and videos have we shared over the past 16 months of babies and toddlers and
just big holes in the ground where something used to be. And now there's just bodies and rubble in a hole.
Or that poor gentleman who was holding up the burned remains of what used to be his baby. I mean, it's just unspeakable. And now there are 2, and I'm not saying, I don't care about them. Like, it shouldn't make you sad that 2 kids lost their lives. I'm just saying, like, if you're upset about one and not the other, you are abso-fucking-lutely racist. No question. And just like I said, and I posted on Twitter, if you have been silent for 15 months about Palestinians being genocided, and now all of a sudden you're talking about them, you don't suddenly care about Palestinians. You care that Trump doesn't care about Palestinians. You are not doing this out of the goodness of your heart because these innocent people should not be suffering. You're doing it because you're anti anything Trump is pro. It's that simple. So you're still a shit fucking person.
Yep.
You still have no empathy. You're still racist. It's so gross. We have learned so much about people in our lives the past year and a half.
I'll drink to that. If I had a drink, I would toast to that. Learning how people really think kind of sucks.
It does. It does. I remember in 2016, like, being like, oh my God, everyone who voted for Hillary is like done out of my life. And that was how, like, when I would meet people, I'd be like, who'd you vote for? And if they didn't vote for Bernie, I'd be like, fuck you. And like, that's how I distinguished like who I wanted to surround myself with. And now it's like, do you care about humanity? Well, yeah. Do you care about Palestine? Well, Israel can defend itself. Go fuck yourself.
The
Use
joy
my
is
number.
the hostages, though.
Oh, the 9,400 Palestinian hostages? I
Yeah.
know. Free them. Free them all. Free them all, people.
Yep, that's how you do it. You got to flip it right back on them.
Yep.
You're right. There are hostages. Let's count them. All right. Here's a clip from Ryan. It says, "Big victory. Israel's economy is collapsing thanks to BDS."
2 years ago, we had 0 countries supporting a military embargo of Israel. 0, as in not even South Africa. Today, we have 53 countries that officially call for the military embargo of Israel. Intel, not too long ago, was forced, partly by BDS, to quit a $25 billion, with a B, dollar project near Tel Aviv. And again, BDS played a key role in that. McDonald's is suffering tremendously because of the BDS campaign. Again, 2 years ago, we had one university that ended relations with Israeli universities because of their complicity, and that was University of Johannesburg in South Africa, obviously. Today, we have tens of universities that have either cut relations or are in the process of divesting or cutting academic ties with Israeli universities. In the cultural sphere, there's so much to talk about, but just very quickly, the most recent achievement is 7,000 and running publishers and writers have now joined the cultural boycott of Israel, which targets institutions, obviously. The chairman of the Israel Export Institute admits, quote, BDS and boycotts have changed Israel's global trade landscape. Despite the typical militaristic bravado, it is far from evident that the Israeli establishment wishes to resume the ruthless bombardment and massacres in Gaza. Israel's economy is experiencing what 130 of its top economists describe as a spiral of collapse, with an almost unprecedented brain drain, a nose-diving tech industry, and a credit rating that is near junk levels, according to Moody's. Increasingly seen by investors as what we call a shutdown nation, Israel has ranked dead last among 50 countries in the just-released Nations Brand Index. The chairman of the Israel Export Institute admits, quote, BDS and boycotts have changed Israel's global trade landscape. And
keep it up, people. Yes, and they didn't mention Starbucks. Starbucks has lost billions.
Oh, yeah.
And good, their fucking $8 coffee or whatever the fuck it is, they can go fuck themselves anyway.
Seriously, yeah, there's one right across from where I live, and I've never been there.
I've never spent a dime at Starbucks because I remember in 2016 they endorsed Hillary, and I was like, no. So I just never went there. I would never pay that much for fucking coffee anyway.
Nope.
Mom and pop, people, support your local mom and pop.
Yeah, so yeah, Israel's economy is apparently collapsing. I hope that is true. I hope that's not another.
It is true. I've read a lot of studies on that. However, that does not mean I am 100% excited, because I would not be surprised if the good old US of A did not bail them the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. Comment from Brett. The state of our Western society is super concerning. Primed and ready like 1930s Germany.
Absolutely.
And Israel is involved, just like they were then too, huh? Isn't that weird?
Israel.
Oh, yeah, something about Pope Francis here, apparently. And we can talk about this number, but he apparently made 470 daily video calls to Gaza during Israel's genocide. That number seems kind of high, but
I think they worded it incorrectly. I
Okay.
think they mean he's done
Like
calls
overtime.
daily for 437 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just always always FaceTiming them, man, like constantly.
Salam alaikum.
Acá venía a saludarlo algunos bandidos. Este es Carlito. Vos. Ahí va, vos el baba. Ahí va. Este es baba.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Ok, muchas gracias, Santo Padre. Muchas gracias, Santo Padre.
Grazie tante.
Vuoi ringraziare, pregare per lei, chiedere sempre prega per loro.
E prega a favore, non contro.
I wish we had subtitles.
Yeah. I mean, I did think it was cool that he said Assalamu alaikum, you know, which, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. But, I mean, don't get me started on the Catholic Church. Not a fan.
Seriously.
But
Yeah.
I do want to know why so many Christians and Catholics are Zionists when they're like pinnacle, you know, of someone they're supposed to like look up to is calling people in Gaza every single day, checking in on them. He's not calling the terrorist state of Israel. He's calling them. Why are they so hateful? Why? First of all, look up the thousands of articles and videos of people in the terrorist state of Israel who are doing awful things to Christians, spitting on them, ripping up, you know, burning their crosses, you know, ripping their t-shirts that have, you know, crosses on them, saying, you know, having laws that they will be arrested if they proselytize in Israel.
Nobody knows about that stuff. Nobody's ever.
You don't want to know. But it's like you are literally swearing your allegiance to people who hate you.
Yep.
You have way more. And in Palestine, there are Christians. There are some Jews as well. But there are Christians. They have more in common with Palestinians than they do with Israelis who hate them.
Yeah. Yep.
It's madness.
We are on to funny, I do believe.
That's funny.
All right, from MAGA Cult Slayer. We would like to formally apologize for being wrong. The stimulus checks are actually coming. It says.
Everybody hold tight. Those stimulus checks are coming. I just got an update that $8,000, it is coming February 31st. Thank God.
Good news, everyone! February 31st. Let's go. What are you guys doing with it?
What does she say? Those $8,000 checks?
Yeah.
I thought they were 5.
Well, it depends who you're talking to. Sometimes they're 8, sometimes they're 5, sometimes hey, that one guy said maybe 2,500, 1,250. It depends.
If you're rich, you get more, right?
If you're rich, you get more because that is what makes sense. It's like, you know, basically eugenics of the poor. If you're poor, we're going to make sure you are even more poor. And it's survival of the fittest. And obviously, we know who's going to win. And it's not going to be your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Let's see. Looks like 90 people watching. So smash that like and subscribe. So this is my book, my new book comes out in 3 weeks. However, it is up for pre-order. You guys, this is probably the most important thing I've ever done, is written this book. This is about my dear friend Temujin Kensu. He's been in prison almost 40 years and has been proven innocent time and time again. Yet Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer will not let him out. She has his clemency papers on her desk and has for the entire 6 years she has taken office. And he has a brain tumor and is being denied treatment. He's 61 now, and he's been in prison almost 40 years. So this is his story. And, you know, most of it in his words. I'm just having the honor of helping him tell it. But yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot to both of us if you do buy my book, because the more people who know his story and know about how he is a political prisoner, the more of a chance he has to get the fuck out and go home.
Yes. I'm filling out the contact form for Gretchen Whitmer right now. Please consider pardoning Temujin Kensu. There's ample proof he did nothing wrong. Time is running out.
And she knows he is being denied chemo and other things. She knows this. Like, she's been notified numerous times.
Yeah.
She has never said the words, Temujin Kensu is guilty. Temujin Kensu shot Scott Malcolm. Scott Malcolm was shot one time in the side 38 years ago. Temujin was almost 500 miles away and has over a dozen witnesses proving he was there. And the story gets even more and more fucked up from there. The biggest political corruption case in like existence. It is so fucked up between a crackhead public defender, literally
a crackhead,
hard for being a crackhead, to fake jailhouse snitches, to teleportation accusations. Like, you guys never heard shit like this. And I also included all the receipts to back it up. There's evidence in there, like court documents and stuff as well. So you're gonna read some shit that you can't believe is real, and it's fucking real. So
I can't wait. This is gonna be a good read.
I think so. I hope so. Well, I do want to let you guys know, Temujin's wife, Paula Kensu, I've given her much of the book to review, and she is ecstatic. So makes me feel good. And since, you know, their approval is, you know, I wouldn't do it without, you know, their blessing.
Yeah.
Because in almost 40 years, there's never been a book about it for some reason. And writing it, I understand why, because it's fucking psycho. And writing it is driving me insane because of all the crazy shit that happens in this case. But
yes,
I'm sure it'll be much more fun to read. So please get that book. It's my baby, and I know Temujin would be very, very honored and happy for you to learn his story. So thank you guys so much. Again, Kim Iverson had me on her show today. It should premiere later tonight, if not tomorrow. So you can learn more about Temujin's case there, and also about my book. So thanks so much again, Matt, for joining me. And
it's my pleasure.
Have a great night, guys.
Adios,
Much
everyone.
love.